free people of a free country, free Slovakia, who will not be conquered by the invaders. Today we were all with you on your streets, in your protest, and all together we told the invaders one thing: go home while you can still walk. The Russian invaders entered Slovakia and met with the same reaction there as in the south of our state and in the east of our country. Ukraine is united in its desire to live freely. Ukraine wants to live independently for the sake of its own dreams, not for the sake of other people's sick fantasies. Every day of our struggle for Ukraine, for our state, every manifestation of our resistance in all areas where the invaders came, proves that Ukraine is a full-fledged state with historical roots and moral foundations throughout its territory. The invaders can do anything, but it will not help them. The shutdown of our television and the connection of Moscow TV presenters, leaflets with propaganda, the distribution of rubles, which in Russia will soon gain weight, but not at face value. It will also not help to bribe the marginals, whom the invaders are looking for in all the dumps to portray the allegedly pro-Russian government. There will be only one answer to the Russian troops: hatred and contempt, and our armed forces of Ukraine will inevitably come. That is why ordinary Ukrainian peasants take captive the pilots of downed Russian planes that fall to our land. That is why our tractor troops, Ukrainian farmers, take Russian equipment from the fields and give it to our armed forces of Ukraine, including the latest models that Russia has tried to keep secret. And now the invaders are throwing them on our land and just running away. They are doing the right thing, because it is better for them to escape from here than to die. There are simply no other alternatives for the invaders.
А тепер окупанти їх кидають на нашій землі і просто втікають. В принципі, правильно роблять, бо їм звідси краще втекти, ніж померти. А інших альтернатив просто немає.
Everyone in Ukraine has united and has been devoting all their energy to the defense of our state for more than a month, together with the armed forces of Ukraine, together with all our defenders, together with our National Guard. I would like to once again congratulate the National Guard of Ukraine on its holiday with great respect. I am sincerely grateful for everything you do to protect our state, to protect Ukrainians. Thank you for all the steps to victory. A victory that became possible thanks to you. Today, I presented awards to the soldiers of the National Guard of Ukraine who distinguished themselves in battles with Russian invaders. Also, I awarded the rank of Brigadier General to 5 colonels of the National Guard of Ukraine. During the full-scale war, on February 24, 476 soldiers of the National Guard were awarded state awards. I also spoke today with Polish President Andrzej Duda twice. I spoke with him about our people who have found protection in Poland and about the need to strengthen our common security, the security of our states, security in fact for all Europeans. What exactly is the price of this security? These are planes for Ukraine, tanks for our state, missile defense, and ship weapons. This is what our partners have, something that just collects dust. After all, this is all for the freedom not only of Ukraine, but for the freedom of Europe. Because it cannot be acceptable for everyone on the continent if the Baltic states, Poland, Slovakia, and the whole of Eastern Europe are at risk of a clash with the Russian invaders. These countries may be at risk only because the aircraft will be left somewhere in the hangars. This is only 1% of all NATO aircraft and 1% of all NATO tanks. We have not asked for more and we are not asking for more, but we have been waiting for 31 days. So who runs the Euro-Atlantic community? Is Moscow still because of intimidation? Partners need to step up their assistance in Ukraine. These are the words partners need, because this is the security of Europe, and that is what we agreed on in Kiev when the 3 prime ministers of Eastern European countries, as well as Mr. Kaczynski, arrived in our capital. It was mid-March. Today, immediately after the conversation with the President of Poland, I contacted the defenders of Mariupol. I am in constant contact with them. Their determination, their heroism and resilience are impressive. I am grateful to each of them. If only at least 1% would give their courage to those who have been thinking for 31 days how to transfer 10 or 20 planes or tanks. By the way, we spoke today with our servicemen in Mariupol, with our heroes who are defending this city. We spoke to them in Russian, because there is no language problem in Ukraine. And now you, the Russian invaders, are creating this problem. You are doing everything to make people stop speaking Russian themselves. Because the Russian language will be associated with you, with these explosions and murders, with your crimes. You deport our people, you intimidate our teachers, you force them to repeat everything after your propagandists. You are capturing our mayors and Ukrainian activists. You are hanging billboards in the occupied territories with appeals not to be afraid to speak Russian. Don't be afraid to talk, but just think, what does that mean? Where the Russian language was a part of everyday life, as well as the Ukrainian language, in the east of our state and where you are turning peaceful cities into ruins today. Russia itself is doing everything to ensure derussification on the territory of our state. You do it in one generation and forever. This is another manifestation of your suicide policy.
За одно поколение и навсегда. Это еще одно проявление вашей самоубийственной политики.
Our representatives, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the Minister of Defense of Ukraine met today in Poland with colleagues from the United States of America. They were also joined by U.S. President Joe Biden. As I was informed, the talks concerned in particular these vital interests, which I mentioned above. The talks were about what we really need while this ping-pong continues. Who and how should give us planes and other protection tools? Ukraine cannot shoot down Russian missiles from shotguns, from machine guns, which are too much in supply. Mariupol cannot be unblocked without a sufficient number of tanks and other armored vehicles and mandatory aircraft. All defenders of Ukraine, all defenders of Mariupol know about it. Thousands of people, citizens who die in the blockade, know about it. This is known in the United States of America. All European politicians know it. We told everyone. People on Earth need to know this as soon as possible. As many people on Earth as possible should know who and why was afraid to prevent this tragedy, who were simply afraid to make a vital decision. Of course, we have already seized a certain number of Russian tanks, which the Russian military command never tires of sending so that we can burn them here. But still, the peoples of the world will not understand for sure the battlefield in Ukraine will be a larger supplier of tanks to protect freedom in Europe than our partners. The position in Ukraine must be heard. I want to emphasize that this is not just our position. This is the position of the vast majority of Europe's population, the majority of Europeans. If someone does not believe, then do not look at current polls in the world. If you do not want to hear the position of the people, then hear the strikes of Russian missiles, which strike very close to the Polish border. Are you waiting for the roar of Russian tanks? I also spoke today with the Prime Minister of Bulgaria, Kirill Petkov, about the humanitarian catastrophe caused by the actions of Russian troops and how to save our people. I also spoke today at the Doha Forum in the Qatari capital. This is a respectable gathering that is important not only for the Islamic world, but also for many other states. Latin America and Africa are the regions where Russian propaganda still has a lot of influence. But we work against lies all over the world. Russia must know that the truth will not remain silent, and every nation in the world will feel the depth of the injustice that Russia is doing against Ukraine and against everything that keeps the world within the framework of morality and humanity. The invaders committed another crime against history, against historical justice. Near Kharkiv, Russian troops in their branded inhuman style denazified the Holocaust Memorial in Drohobych Yar. During World War II, the Nazis shot about 20,000 people in this place. 80 years later, they are killed a second time. And Russia is doing it. The menorah in Drohobych was smashed by Russian shells today. This is another question to the entire Jewish community of the world about how many more crimes against our common memory of the Holocaust Russia will be allowed to commit on our Ukrainian land. Russian troops are deliberately killing civilians, destroying neighborhoods, targeting shelters and hospitals, schools, universities, even churches, and even Holocaust memorials. Russian troops receive just such orders, to destroy everything that makes our people a people, our people, our culture. 80 years ago, the Nazis tried to seize Europe, just as the invaders in Ukraine. No one will forgive them. There will be responsibility, just like 77 years ago. Probably not in Nuremberg, but the meaning will be similar. You will see. Everyone will see. We guarantee. Glory to all our heroes. Glory to Ukraine.
Так само, як і 77 років тому. Скоріш за все, не у Нюрнберзі, але сенс буде аналогічний. Ви побачите. Всі побачать. Всі. Ми гарантуємо. Слава усім нашим героям. Слава Україні!